Hello everybody, so this is hopefully going to be a very short video concerning something that I became aware of on my way back from work. I was flicking through my my Twitter feed on my BlackBerry, this thing, and it was just something that I saw that made me go, huh, well, that sucks. You may or may not be aware of a smallish sized Eastern European country called Belarus. Evgeny Morozov, who is a writer and researcher on how technology and the internet has actually, in some cases, strengthened the hold of authoritarian regimes, and is Belarusian himself, said of Belarus that it is not exactly an oasis of liberal democracy. And by Jove, he was right. It's got a pretty oppressive government, it's had some problems with elections and freedom of speech. It's just, how to put it, it's kind of a shithole. And as such, the youth of Belarus has been known to protest this fact and to hold anti-government protests. The thing is, in order to protest in Belarus, you need a permit, and they are very, very, very rarely given to people who oppose the government. So, if you do protest in Belarus, you get the daylights walloped out of you. You get beaten up by the police, you get arrested and detained for various lengths of time. So what some people in Belarus have done in order to circumvent these obstacles and protest the government in Belarus is to hold protests that aren't exactly protests. They have held clapping protests where they just stand there and clap in protest of the government. They've had strolling protests where you just walk in a particular fashion, in a particular direction. Protests have been done where everybody sets their cell phone alarm to go off. Those crazy Belarusians. But people have still gotten arrested for this. I'm reading from a New York Times article here, and there'll be links in the description to that and other things, which says, plainclothes police officers have detained nearly 2,000 people since the so-called clapping protests began in June. In many cases because they were seen clapping or standing near people who were. More than 500 people have received sentences of 5 to 15 days. So, in many cases, people were arrested just for standing near someone who was clapping. Standing next to someone who was clapping in a public space has gotten people arrested in Belarus. So the people in Belarus have had to take it one step further and hold silent protests where they turn up and do nothing. That's their form of protest. That's what they've been reduced to. So in response to this, the Belarusian government has decided to draft a law which was published on Friday, which says this, and I'm reading from the same New York Times article here. A draft law published Friday prohibits the, quote, joint mass presence of citizens in a public place. It's already ringing alarm bells for me there. You can't even be a part of a mass presence of citizens in a public place. But hang on. There's more. A draft law published Friday prohibits the, quote, joint mass presence of citizens in a public place that has been chosen beforehand, including an outdoor space, and at a scheduled time for the purpose of a form of action or inaction that has been planned beforehand and is a form of public expression of the public or political sentiments or protest. So now, it is illegal to turn up. Turning up is illegal. So I'm not sure whether this law is currently in place, or whether it's definitely going to be in place, or whether they've just released it and it might or might not be in place. I'm not really sure. I would imagine the implications of a draft law mean that it's just been drafted up and it's yet to be put into law. But if it is currently in place, or if it's going to be in place in Belarus, it will mean that you can't turn up and do anything to protest the government, nor can you turn up and do nothing to protest the government. That is just... I don't really know what to say to that. I usually have some smart aleck response to that. I'll, you know, do a funny little gag in response to something like that, but I really don't know what to say to that. How do you... I'm having trouble even, you know, explaining that. I mean, you can't clap, you can't walk. It's basically the banning of all and every form of protest against the government. So yeah, I really don't know what to say to that. It's just interesting, you know. And you know, I hear a lot of people saying things like, oh, the governments in the West, in the United States or in Western Europe, are authoritarian or they're dictators. And I hear this from, you know, Obama-hating, Tea-partying Republicans who think that Obama is going to take their guns. And I also hear it from wishy-washy leftist liberals who carry signs saying that capitalism has failed and we need to fight the system because the government is fascist. No, Belarus's government is authoritarian and a dictatorship, okay? I mean, the president, Alexander Lukashenko, who, by the way, he's just, he doesn't look good. He looks like a sad vole. That is not a happy mustache. But anyway, Alexander Lukashenko, the president of Belarus, literally said that his style of ruling was authoritarian. He literally said that. The president of a country literally said to all these people that, yep, I'm an authoritarian. What are you gonna do? That's right, nothing, because I'm a dictator. Or actually, not even do nothing, because he'll lock you up for doing nothing. I'm literally having trouble trying to express this in a way that adequately sums up what this actually means. You can be arrested for being there in Belarus. It's not only the fact that you can be arrested for being there with a massive group of people, you can be arrested for being there next to someone else who was there. It's insane. And again, I'm not trying to diminish any of the gripes and legitimate complaints that people have with our governments here in the West, in you know, liberal democracies in the Western European countries and in the United States and Canada and places like that. But honestly, looking at that does kind of make me, it gives me some perspective, alright? Condoleezza Rice said that Belarus was the last true remaining dictatorship in the heart of Europe. Belarus sucks. So be happy that you're not in Belarus. And if you are in Belarus, be happy that you're not in North Korea. And if you are in North Korea...
Glory to our dear leader, Kim Jong-il, make you rule over us forever.
See you later, everybody.